Anybody want to take the honor of starting us in prayer? There's Father.
There you go. Head of the house, right here.
Head of the house.
Head of the house.
Everybody, let's thank Mr. Lucas for making this space available. Thank Brother Philip Jackson for helping us also.
Yes, Father, please bless this meeting of dedicated young and old people in the black community concerned about a police state in the city of Chicago. Black ops being run on our young people, cutting us off from our economic futures. How do we solve the problem of police brutality? How do we get to economic development? How do we give our young men and women alternatives to the gang culture that has been imposed on us for the last 40 years? And how do we break the cycle of poverty in the promised land? We're in the promised land. We're celebrating our centennial next year, our 100-year ceremony, and we want to, in fact, revitalize the black communities within the city of Chicago by getting support of government and getting support of our elected officials to emancipate our communities. Why we came to these northern cities. Amen.
Amen. Right.
My name is Willie J.R. Fleming, W-I-L-L-I-E, J.R. stand for Just Righteousness, Fleming, F-L-E-M-I-N-G. I'm the Executive Director of the Chicago Anti-Eviction Campaign and a Human Rights Monitor with the Chicago Independent Human Rights Council. We have gathered today in response to the heinous criminal act that was committed against Laquan McDonald and many others in the city of Chicago. We have gathered in response to the mayor demand and the police department demand that protesters, organizers, and community activists take on a peaceful manner when expressing our First Amendment rights. Today we gather about the human right to life, though. Laquan McDonald video is just not an isolated incident. It is a pattern of abuse that has been taking place in the black community perpetrated by the Chicago Police Department for far too long. In the recent days after the release of the video, we have come to find out that there was collusion, corruption, and an intentional cover-up by the state's attorney's office, the Chicago Police Department, and the mayor's office. We want to be clear today that this is not one organization. In fact, this is a collection of many black organizations in the city of Chicago that you will hear from. We are demanding a federal Department of Justice investigation into the cover-up of this case and the many others that have yet to be investigated. We're demanding a UN investigation into these matters of police crimes and brutality that has been perpetuated against the black community. We're not just angry because of this video or another execution of black life. We're not just angry because the city is wasting resources on peaceful protests by militarizing our police. We're angry because this city has declared a war on the black community and black people.
That's right.
But they've yet to declare a war on poverty and oppressive measures being taken by the Chicago Police Department. Today you will hear from activists from the Chicago Independent Human Rights Council, former police officer Patricia Hill, Darius Lightfoot, Corey Masons, for co-founders of Fearless Leadership by the Youth, who brought us the Trauma Center, Danton Floyd from 360 Nation, which is a youth organization, Montega Simmons, Organization of Black Struggle Executive Director from Ferguson, Benjamin Mason, a 13-year-old human rights activist, Cam Howard from NCOBRA, Jeff Baker from National Black Action Committee,
Agenda Consortium, and the Coalition Against Racist Political Repression, Raymond Richards from Brothers Standing Together, Mark Carter, One Chicago, talking about the Black Friday boycott, and Jermont Montgomery from the Workers' Center for Racial Justice. At this time, we're going to show the video and open up for a 30-minute discussion on what folks feel should happen and what folks witnessed in the video. So at this time, we're going to play the video. I want to start, we want to start with Sister Patricia Hill, former police officer. And we want to open up this for discussion. She's also the executive director of Chicago Independent Human Rights Council, who led 2 UN missions to America, one around racial discrimination and one around housing. And there's an upcoming mission by the United Nations in January. Pat, being a former police officer, why should we be shocked by this video? If you want to go into that, if you want to talk about what's really going on.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First of all, by the number of people in this room, I believe that you all are here for one purpose, and that is to take care of our business.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to base my discussion on, us taking care of our business. Not nobody else's business, but our business. I don't know why anybody would be shocked. This is business as usual. I think the sensationalization of the manner in which his body reacted to those hot bullets entering, and the bullets are heated when they come out of a gun. Many of you all know that. And the question becomes, how many bullets does it take to kill a nigga?
That's right. That's right.
All right, and it's open season. Like it's open season on bears, it's open season on squirrels, it's open season on niggas. And so that we have to understand, that's the basis from which we're working from. That's the way he was treated, that's the way we're all treated and disrespected. As a former Chicago police officer, head of the African American Police League, my experience was a little more unique than the average officer because of the African American Police League. Our job was twofold. One was we were there to improve the relationship between the black community and the police, and the other was to achieve parity for black officers. We don't really need more black officers. We need more black officers that want to be black.
Come on. Come on. Say it again. Say it again. So in case they missed that. Say it again in case they missed that.
Okay, because we know that skinship don't always mean kinship.
That's right.
And the way the police department is structured is a paramilitary organization. The hierarchy controls the behavior of the minions, the lower level. If you know anything about the military, then everybody is trying to ingratiate themselves to the hierarchy. This is not a new phenomenon. However, our response to it is a little new. And we need to really understand that as they have retched it up, we need to retch it up. I want to say that the Chicago Independent Human Rights Council, of the hat that I'm wearing today, is that we're going to try to go along the lines of, since we're talking about crime, we're going to talk about all the crimes that were committed around this particular case. You have 4 entities. You have the Mayor of the City of Chicago.
Amen.
You have the Cook County State's Attorney. You have the City Council, and you have an appointee, Gary McCarthy. They all are complicit in this event.
Yes.
We are understanding now that they had this video for 16 months. But they participated in what could be described as concealment. And now real quickly, I'm going to give you a definition of concealment as it applies to Illinois law. Concealment is the act of hiding something or preventing it from being known. Okay, I didn't make that up, but that's what they did. And they're admitting it. Also, they participated in a conspiracy. A conspiracy is an agreement between 2 or more persons to commit a crime at some time in the future. Maybe not this crime, but the crime that they came together to prevent or to hide, conceal, or what have you, is that the police will always have first-hand information on how to do what they did at Burger King. When you go in and you cover up or you steal or you remove the information that's the most indictable. This is not a new phenomenon. So we're hoping that the community can wrap itself around the concept of the fact that crimes were committed by those who we've elected and others have selected, okay, to look out for our political interests. We don't have to analyze the video. I have not watched the video because I don't like my sensibility and my senses to be tormented in that way. That was a human being.
That's right.
I've seen enough. I don't need to see that. Our reaction should be whatever our reaction is, and nobody can dictate to you what
That's
that
right.
reaction should be. In conclusion, because we do have many people, I just wanted to set the tone that we need to be going about it from a legal perspective. It's been done before, and we have recall, we have a lot of things at our disposal. But as the people of the city of Chicago, especially black people, who have been historically, consistently disrespected by this entity called policing in America, we have to put those folks in the penitentiary the way they have no qualms about trumping up charges on us.
Come on.
And that is why yesterday they started throwing everybody under the bus.
Come on.
Because the conspiracy ended once they said Matt Van Dyke no longer speaks for the police department. Once Servant got to go. Now the conspiracy is over. We've admitted it. We were wrong, and that's why your mayor stood there and said the same thing for 15 minutes over and over and over and over again. And that's basically, don't y'all be mad at me. Pretty much. So in essence, we have been conferring with attorneys. We will continue to do so, but we can't do anything without the critical mass. We can't do anything
That's right.
without the people saying, this is what we want. Last but not least, if they will cover up the shooting of a black police officer, Howard Morgan, that was shot 27 times in the back,
Come on now.
and charge him with the crime, who by the grace of God is still walking around. And we were able to get clemency for, we need to get a pardon for. What do you think they will do to you?
Come on.
What do you think they will do to you? So in understanding that the first policing system in America were the slave patrols,
That's right.
nobody should be shocked.
That's right. That's right.
And the most disenfranchised whites were chosen and selected to be the slave patrollers.
Come on.
It ain't your wealthy ones, it ain't your millionaires, it ain't your most educated. It's the most ignorant. Were it not for the police department, they would be digging ditches. Then we need to understand where we are. We cannot decode, we cannot successfully negotiate our environment until we have successfully decoded it. So it's time to decode where we are. Thank you.
Our mayor and police chief said that Chicago is not Ferguson. Chicago is not Baltimore. Chicago will not become Ferguson, and Chicago will not become Baltimore. We asked up here today a brother by the name of Montega Simmons, one of the lead organizers down there during the Fort Ferguson protest, to share with us how we can prevent Chicago from becoming Ferguson in terms of the militarized police, right? Yes. How we can successfully and peacefully protest without being afraid of having felony charges leveled at young activists trying to express their First Amendment right. So I want y'all to give it up for the organization of Black Struggle, all the way from Ferguson, Missouri, Montega Simmons.
Well, first and foremost, I'm honored to be. Sure.
Oh, you can move that. If we can have the speakers come towards this row, we just swap out seats, so that they get good audio.
Whatever you at.
For the rep. Let's swap out.
Spell your first and last name as well.
Sure.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
And know that we calling them here too, y'all.
It's Montega, M-O-N-T-A-G-U-E, last name Simmons, S-I-M-M-O-N-S. That video, it takes me right back, literally less than a week before Mike Brown, well, after Mike Brown was murdered, Kajimi Powell was murdered. The knife, brother known in his community, in a store, he's been there almost every day. Everybody knew him. They knew exactly what he did. In a confrontation, he was literally having a mental breakdown. Police showed up, Same thing, execution. No value for black bodies. So one, your mayor has no standing to tell you that your community is not the same as what we see in St. Louis, Ferguson, in Baltimore. Right now, because they're meeting out the same brutality. And what is resonating with me is that this conspiracy goes so deep that they covered this up specifically to insulate your ability to replace him in office.
Come on.
You had, if this had been released timely,
Right.
He
you
would be the
could
mayor of the
literally
city of Chicago.
remove him and the entire institution.
That's right.
This is the definition of conspiracy. And the idea that he's asking you to remain peaceful, when I know they're actually arming up in the same way that they armed up in our cities. Now here's I guess the good and bad. And let's be clear, first and foremost, I am not from here. I got family here, I got friends here. I'm here because anti-eviction campaign invited me, Black Workers Center for Justice invited me. I got comrades here. I don't know y'all. I don't know what your relationship has been with each other. I don't know the good, I don't know the bad between you. But in this moment, you got to figure this out.
We gotta come
This is
together.
the space. You gotta come to unity. The main lesson I bring to you is one, they are preparing themselves. They are preparing themselves to rain down the same kind of military assaults that we've seen. No matter how peaceful you are. So you gotta actually, one, be disciplined. I urge you, every front, no matter the nature of that relationship, you must be speaking to them. You cannot allow them to peel people off, which is what they're gonna do. They're gonna peel somebody off and claim they're speaking on your behalf and your community's behalf. And they're gonna continue to sharpen their weapons. And when you come out, and you got to come out, you got to actually be there. You gotta be there disciplined, you gotta be there organized. They will still rain down military assault on you. For you, you gotta have everybody at the table. Our biggest error, and I own this, is that as much unity as we had, we didn't talk to everybody. What's crazy is we were getting solidarity from the streets and didn't even know it because people was afraid to go talk to them. The street tribes stopped. Literally, you saw no murders, they stopped. They were like, this is our time. You got to bring every voice from your community into a space and speak as one. There was an opportunity literally where y'all could have claimed this. And they took that from you. They have no right to take your democratic voice, no matter what he says. If this had actually been released in that month, you could have replaced your mayor, you could have replaced the city council, you could have replaced the police chief. You'd be dealing with literally governance. When we talk about the fight, it's not just about policy. Policy is one thing, because you got to take the teeth out this dog. This dog is killing us, and it's relentless, and it's not going to stop until somebody pull that leash. That means governance. That's what liberation is. You got a history and legacy and capacity that we can only imagine in St. Louis. We got exposed for what we weren't doing in terms of organizing. We leveraged relationships. The reason we were successful is because people were willing to actually trust us. They came into the space, they took our leadership. They took leadership of young folks that was actually out there night after night after night. You gotta come to accord. You can't work in silos, you can't work transactionally. This is a space for your transformation. That means you gotta define what accountability is between you. You got to figure that out. Because here's the thing, JR asked like how we can actually prevent the response. I don't know that you can prevent them from doing what they plan on doing anyway. They already out there scoping and planning what they gonna do to you. You have to actually respond orderly, disciplined, controlled, which means there is no room for error. You have the capacity to do stuff that we ain't even thought about. We thought about taking blocks and controlling them and actually marshaling their control for our streets. People in communities wanted to do that. We were frightened about the results because we didn't have the layers of organizing capacity. Y'all got here. Y'all got decades of experience and armies of people. We still stretched. We making it happen, but we stretching it amongst a very small group of folk. If y'all come to accord, they can't stop you. You can actually get in the streets and do everything you want legally because you got a full legacy of how it's done. You know how to do this.
That's right.
You know the tradition. You know how to take a street. You know how to control a street.
Right.
You can do that in this space. But one, you gotta have the courage, you gotta have the discipline. I'm here to listen and learn. And I'm looking at massive displays of organizing. Y'all already been doing. Y'all been doing this stuff. Everything y'all doing around the land trust, taking back these houses. You've been expressing this stuff for years. Now it's time to marshal that into this moment and to shut them down.
That's right. On that note, this is a message to the mayor, the masses, and the media. We don't intend to burn this city down. No. We intend to shut it down. We intend on shutting this city down. Next up, we're going to move over to these young folks right here. If we can have them slide down. We're going to have a 13-year-old, I say the age right, I mean? 13-year-old Benjamin Mason, who's a human rights activist. I want to take that seat right there. I mean, if you don't mind, share with us, what does a black future look like for a 13-year-old right now, after seeing that video? Won't you express to the world your audacity to hope? Tell them how you feel.
Well, after seeing that video, it put me in a state of separation because I know that where we feel like it's safe, it's always being taken away from us. And every time we finally get a grasp on that hope, they want to take it away. And I think the reason why we're here is to define who the they are.
That's right. That's right.
And to define what we're going to do about the they.
That's right.
And to figure out the difference between them and us. So, for me, I feel like to figure out our futures, we have to filter out everything. We have to filter out all of our doubts, all of what we don't think is going to happen and what we want, because it's not until we have a stable understanding of what we want until we can get it. And knowing is half the battle.
That's right. That's right.
Once I saw that video, I wasn't very surprised, but I wasn't just left okay. I understood how that things like there were more than one situations like that, and they decided to release that video because if they knew that the conspiracy was ending, as she said. And so the fact that videos like that have been released, and I saw the date on there, is a sign that we're gaining advantage. And I feel like the fact that all of these events have been happening so recently are signs of desperation from them toward us.
That's right. That's right. All right. Y'all, one more question. We got some elders in here, some older folks in here. What can we do as community leaders, activists, and elders to make sure you have a good future? What would you like to see us do? Rather it be come together, what would you like us to see us do to ensure that you have a right to life?
I want to see us have our own. I don't want to support them anymore. I feel like if we're so opposed to a society that we plan to participate within, why are we supporting it so much?
Thank you.
That's a perfect segue.
Shout out to the Democrats for real.
I want to segue into brother Danton Floyd from 360 Nation, who worked with youth on the west side of Chicago, if I'm correct.
Thanks, man.
Danton Floyd, y'all, 360 Nation from the west side. Yeah. I'm gonna go into it.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk in the city of Chicago about mentors, parents, community leaders needing to step it up to keep the violence down. Won't you go into a little talk about what the community really needs? You run a youth program. How quick are the mayor of this city of Chicago, the police department, or the state's attorney office, and providing resources as alternatives to crime in our community?
Well, the thing is, if I was a white man teaching black boys, a bootstrap mentality, I'd probably get $10 million a year to run the program. But since I choose to be a black man that's built on capacity building and self-determination as a means of empowerment, the state is not going to fund that. And I'm clear that the state won't fund that because I'm not in the business of asking the oppressor to make me whole.
That's right. Say it again. Say it again.
That doesn't make sense to me. And I know that, because I'm black, and I'm pretty much assuming everybody else in this room is black, and I'm not talking about the skin, but like my sister said, in consciousness. And I know some folks in here might disagree, but that's why I'm not big on policy. And Jay, I know this. The policy was never built for our self-determination or our overall involvement in people. So therefore, if we choose to keep trying to use their systems in order to get us to a place of self-sustainability, we fooling ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the biggest thing. And I'm not big on protesting because honestly, sometimes I got more important things to do, like save children. You know what I mean? Than to actually be out here protesting on State Street where black folks are not being murdered. The other thing about that is that folks need to be afraid not to no longer walk in that darkness, right? The thing is, like, we in this room and that's cool, but there's a lot of other folks out here in the street that ain't stepping in this room. I grew up in the hood, been living in the hood all my life, and there wasn't no protesting going on. It wasn't none of that going on, right? And that's because we choose not to step into that darkness with a lot of the folks out here that need this assistance, right? That need to be thinking about these things and build this relationship with them. We just want to build with other folks who think like us and talk like us because it's safe to be in those spaces. And I could go on and on and on and on, right? But these are like some of the things that I'm starting to notice. There's a huge class divide in organizing, so a lot of these folks that are protesting, they actually despise black folks, right? Some of these same black folks that are speaking on behalf of black folks are scared to be around poor black folks.
Come on.
That's one of the biggest things right here. And another thing, this is real, and this is why history is important. And it's important to be connected to your elders, right? And to understand your ancestors. There is another ethnic group living within this country, and history has shown that would have tolerated this type of actions from a Gestapo police force without some police bodies being dropped. Right. And that's just being real, right? That ain't about saying that you need to kill police and none of that. But at some point, when did you show that we would no longer allow for this to happen, right?
That's right.
That we would no longer allow for no bully to come into our community and continue to bully us, right? How do you treat a bully? You tell me. You pray for the bully. You ask the bully to stop doing what you're doing. But we can't do that until we build some type of independent collective base. So the first thing I ask is that we stop being so reactionary, right? Like, the reason I didn't see that video, because I haven't seen that my whole life. This is like the first time police have killed somebody. Right? This is the first time these fools got caught for it. That's all. And then the only reason they fired Servin was because they knew if they still let this dude out here and they released that video, they wouldn't have been able to control us. So once again, since we don't have power, we always look at justice as something that we granted when it's really just pacification.
Ooh, come on.
We steady getting pacified because we don't have the power for real self-determination. Speaking. Right? And that's the main thing. My thing is getting a police officer fired or going to the UN and getting them to do something, to me, is not a win. Right? That's just pacification. That's all. That's the reason why I don't protest. Because people say I protest because they want their voices heard. Well, I grew up on Charlie Brown. Right? And whenever Charlie Brown would be sitting there with his friends, whenever an adult happened, what you'll hear? Wah, 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 wah. Because adults didn't exist in Charlie Brown world.
That's right.
That's the same thing within this. Until you got the power, Somebody that got more power, you ain't gotta listen to you.
That's right.
So the thing is, people keep saying they want to be heard. You are being heard because God willing, you born with that sensibility, like you are smelling, tasting, and feeling stuff. You know what I mean? But to actually listen to somebody, that means that the power has to be balanced out. That can't be a power imbalance because if I got power, I ain't gotta listen to you. But the fact of the matter is, when you build up power, you don't demand nothing from nobody but yourself.
Come on now.
So once we get to that point that we can start doing the independent pace and police our own communities, because that's what it's really about. These fools should not be allowed in the hood if they keep killing them. They shouldn't be allowed. So until we get up an independent base, whenever a squad car coming down Madison the 79th, it need to be a brick through the windshield. Because they should not be allowed to be in the community if they keep violating us like that. Just like you wouldn't let somebody in your house that keeps spitting on your face and smacking you. Why should these fools be allowed to roll through the community? We got that power. We got enough power to do that. We got enough power to police the communities block by block by block. But it take a long haul. And it also takes something that you might not see in your lifetime, and you have to be okay with that because it ain't about you. But if you African descendant like I am, you will see it, right? Because we all gonna live through our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right? So all I got to say is just a little point is that I would like to start seeing folks being more proactive. Black folks in history have only did two things. Even when we brought him on these bogus ships, right? The only thing we've ever done is create or we burn stuff down. We ain't never begged the oppressor and asked them for anything. That's right. We always created as a form of healing, and when enough came enough, we burned stuff down. Period. So until we get to that point, I really would ask folks to really start coming together, going in these communities, building these skill sets, because folks can start doing some people and peaceful driven conflict resolution right here in the hood. That's it.
Once again, as the brother said, until we start policing our own community. Message to the mayor and the police department. This is nothing new. We have next going to speak the Chicago Alliance for Racism and Political Repression, Jeff Baker, who have for years been pushing for what again, Jeff? What's that everybody talking about? A what?
An all-elected civilian police accountability council.
Is that the people who's supposed to investigate these police crimes? Would they have some type of power to investigate police crimes?
They would have a lot more power than that. And when I say they, I mean we.
That's right. So I want Jeff to go into that. But I want to make a special note to the media today. I didn't come here to say that we weren't going to burn stuff down, we weren't going to shut it down. I said I wasn't going to do it. This was going to be a call for unity amongst black community organizations, street tribes, and people in the neighborhood. Express your First Amendment rights in any way you see fit, by any means necessary. I'm not here to dictate to you how to express yourself or none of these people speaking. This is not a disclaimer, this is the truth. Folks have a right to express themselves at this table and in our community in any manner in which they see fit. So this isn't a call to put nothing down. This isn't a call to say be peaceful. This is a call to say do something because the system is doing it to us. Jeff Baker.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my apologies. On my way to the sea, I would like to second that. If a building gets killed, I could give a damn. There was a child slaughtered. Professional politicians and professional policing have failed us. But they have not failed at their plan. We think they failed when they get caught killing a young black man in the community. We think they failed. But perhaps that oppression was part of the plan all the time.
Come on now. Say that.
Perhaps instilling that fear and creating docile Negroes was part of the plan all the time. Fearful Negroes was part of the plan all the time. We have to make sure that they fail at that plan. At that plan. I want to say, control, not concessions. I heard, I think it was this brother right here, talking about getting a police officer fired It's not a win.
That's right.
That's something you asked for because you didn't have the power to make it happen yourself. That's something you begged and pleaded for because you didn't have the power to make it happen yourself. Asking McCarthy to step down is a concession. Anita Alvarez stepping down is a concession. What does that mean? That means the next time that a police officer kills somebody, that means we have to organize everybody in this room again and go and ask again, would you please fire him?
Right.
Would you please charge him? Sure, we'll charge this one. Go sit down. We have to stop begging and asking for concessions.
Thank you.
Control, not concessions. Power, not permission. Until we start focusing on control and power, we will find ourselves here again and again and again and again. So I'm just going to talk on the piece that I came to talk on, which is community-controlled policing. Until we get to the point where we police our own communities, and like he said, that's a long haul, but it can be done. We have to focus on it. On the way there, we need to make sure that we run those pieces of this particular system that make a difference. There's an independent police review authority. The Independent Police Review Authority is charged with investigating police criminality and misconduct. In, I think it was 2010, 2011, they have 8,700 complaints of criminality by police officers. Out of that 8,700, they found the police officers to be, for lack of a better term, guilty in less than 100 cases. What does that say to you? It says to me that they believe that the police can do no wrong and there is no accountability. And if you are a police officer with a gun and a badge that stands as a license to kill, and you know that there is no accountability, why would you not shoot Laquan McDonald down in the middle of the street? Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't every feeling of fear be a reason to kill? It would. He sneezed. I didn't know what he was going to do. He turned. I don't know what he was going to do. And it's justifiable. So what we have is an all-elected civilian police accountability council, because I wanted to ask you guys some questions. And I wrote these down. If you had the power to write the police rule book, would pulling the trigger be the first or a last option? Last. If you had the power to hire and fire police, would officers with excessive force complaints be embraced by the police force or expelled?
Expelled.
If you had the power to define what excessive force is and what necessary force is, would there be 12-year-olds shot in the park? No. Would there be 82-year-olds slammed in their doorways because they wouldn't open the door for you? No. Somebody said governance. Govern. Control. Power. We have to take over these entities. And that is what CPAC is all about. That is what the Civilian Police Accountability Council is all about. It's all about people like you and me saying, I watched that. There ain't much to think about. That was murder.
Right.
He fired. We are in control of that.
Right.
But again, somebody else said it. Love the people. That's not going to happen without a critical mass. That's not going to happen without you demanding it, you demanding it, you demanding it, and you demanding it. It is not going to happen. They are not going to give us that control. We take that control.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
We take that power, which is ours to begin with.
Come on, man.
So don't forget those 4 letters, CPAC, Civilian Police Accountability Council, so that people in your community determine how your police until we get rid of the police in your community. Thank you.
Now, folks, bear with me. We want y'all to close this out. I want to go to next, a brother by the name of Cam Howard. As we talk about what is needed in our community, there needs to be closure on some things. You see, it's okay for the city to settle with the families from some of these crimes they have committed against these families. But there's some settlements that haven't happened in America yet that's got this city on a tipping point. Brother Cam Howard from NCOBRA, the National Coalition for Blacks for Reparations in America. Could you please come and address them or come and work with them? And I'm still waiting on my 40 acres in the mirror too. And I'm gonna keep taking houses until they figure it out.
I'm looking forward.
Cam Howard and Cobra, National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. Also work with the National African American Reparations Commission and the Black is Back Coalition for Peace, Social Justice, and Reparations. And COBRA understands that the relationship between the African descendant community and America is a hegemonic relationship. It's a relationship of domination, of control, and it has been that way since we came into this country as prisoners of war and put on these forced labor camps that they call plantations that robbed us of our lives, of our humanity, our culture, our productive output, and put all of that into the coffers of those who brought us over here. That wealth that was built during that particular time is being defended today. It's been defended by these police in our community. That is the purpose of the police, to defend those of us who want to rise into an area of self-dependence and self-determination, defend us from that right to do that. That is what they were created for. As we strove to be free and liberated from the plantations, they defended the property of the slave masters to ensure that didn't happen. This recent expression of domination via police killings is one that we see as needing a different type of response than 40 years of peace. We have been engaging in peaceful struggle for the last 40 years since the defeat of the Black Power movement, since the defeat of the Black movement for nationalism in this country, the movement for self-determination. And so we need to revisit that particular struggle.
That's right.
Our response is that in January of next year, the international community is hosting, or Chicago is hosting, the international community. A representative from the International Decade of People with African Descent out of the UN will be here.
January 25th.
January 25th, the international community has recognized that the life chances and life choices of people of African descent today is determined by the crimes that were committed against our ancestors yesterday.
Right.
There's no more need for us to make that case. The international community has made the case for us. It has been settled. When you see the over-incarceration of African men in this country, you see the underdevelopment of economic underdevelopment of our communities. When you see the diseducation of African children and the internal crime that we commit against one another, the international community has already recognized that those are the byproducts of 400 years of oppression and domination.
That's right.
We do not have to make that case. And they've given us some tools to use. One of the tools they've given us is Article 27 of the UN Declaration of Human Rights, which is the right to self-determination.
That's right.
And the right to self-determination says that a people who have struggled peacefully for their human rights to be respected have also the right to struggle militarily.
That's right.
If
That's right.
that peaceful struggle did not get them
That's right.
the respect and the rights, their human rights respected in the way that they should have been. struggled again for 40 years since the defeat of the Black Power movement peacefully. It's documented. There's not been an uprising among African people for the last 40 years.
Absolutely.
We've documented over and over again, we've attempted to gain our rights as human beings in this society in peaceful manners, legal manners, in all ways that the civil society gives us an opportunity to exercise our so-called constitutional rights. We've done that for 40 years. And what we see now is an intensification of the attack on African life. And so, what is our response? If we truly understand that our mission is self-governance, brother, if our mission is liberation and self-determination, sovereignty as a people, then we have to work systematically to achieve that.
Right.
Again, recognizing the international arena and the international protocols that are available to us. The repertoire of the International Decade of People of African Descent will be here. We're going to insist, when they get here, that they assist us in the process of holding a plebiscite to secede from this motherfucker.
Right on.
We do not have to remain under a dominant force that has no. Have they gave you a 10-year plan for full economic development for African community? Have you seen one of those?
No.
Have you seen a 20-year plan?
No.
Have you seen a 50-year plan?
No.
So it doesn't even, it's not even in their thought process. Have you seen a 10-year plan for the re-education of African children?
No.
It doesn't exist. So they have no plans in place for us to achieve any type of parity in the expression of our human rights.
That's right.
The right to live and exist and actualize our full capacity as human beings. They have no plan for us. If they have no plan for us, then we must create the plan for us. And we utilize the international instruments that are available to us to do that, and we must re-educate ourselves for both and armed struggle in the process of gaining a plebiscite to extract ourselves from this system of domination.
That's right.
And I want to leave with that.
Right on.
But more than anything, the disrespect that continued with black workers in the city of Chicago. And for those of you who don't know or who don't believe, African American male and women between the ages of 16 to 25 have an unemployment rate of what percentage? A, 70%, B, 50%, or C, 90% and above.
90 and above.
They don't have a plan for us. So when the mayor talk about is we gonna burn this city down, if we did, it wouldn't be just because of this video. It's the treatment of black people in this city. We tired of the school closings, the jobless opportunities. We're not going to say gentrification since this is a global city. We're going to say forceful eviction, internal displacement, and genocidal acts. We tired of that. And we got a plan. So when you think about us burning this city down, it won't be for one thing. Shutting this city down, it won't be for one thing. It's a list of things that continue to happen to our community. Just like these unsolved murders that are happening. That's causing these retaliations, right? It's because the state's attorney office is telling the police department, default to the saying, the community is not working with us. The community is not cooperating. Oh yes, the community is. We want to work to build up our community. We don't want to destroy it.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to survival, by any means necessary, we're going to get it.
All right.
So from the Workers' Center for Racial Justice, Alexander Navarro and Jamal Montgomery.
Montgomery, J-E-R-M-O-N-T, Montgomery, M-O-N-T, G-O-M-E-R-Y.
Alexandria Navedo, A-L-E-X-A-N-D-R-E-A, last name Navedo, N-A-V-E-D-O.
Thank you. I feel kind of out of place because of the talent and the brains at this table. First of all, Workers' Center for Racial Justice, what do? We fight for black workers' rights.
Come on now.
And what
Say it again, bro.
Black workers' rights. We are all familiar with labor unions. Well, we're basically a bridge. We're not somewhat a union, but for black workers, period. And black workers face a number of different struggles. We all know about the geography from our communities to job placements. We have people working in Libertyville, 2 buses, 2 L's, and if you miss 1 bus, you might as well go back home.
All right.
We have workers that's not getting their overtime or their time and a half. There's a number of different struggles when it comes to black workers. Recently, but how does this all connect with the movement? We've had a number of different community gathering sessions. One on what does community protection, community security look like? And in that meeting, I can't tell you what all came out of it, but I can tell you the community from the south side that we did at the Peace Center in Inglewood, and on the north side that we did at Rogers Park. No community said they wanted more police. Not one community said they wanted more police. The relationship is that bad. Authoritarian, disrespectful, and mockery is what we get from our for what our taxpayers are supposed to be paying for. I'll let Alex say some of the things that also came from those meetings.
A lot of things that came from those meetings that we did have youth there. And one of the things that struck out is nowadays if you ask children what they want to become, answers like police officer aren't the answers anymore. You know, and that really struck out to me because yesterday, you know, my kids, I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old. They got a chance to see the tape yesterday. I do really want my children seeing the tape, but I'd rather them see it with me than to see it with everybody else.
Come on now, say that.
So my 9-year-old is a boy, my son, my only son. So I fear for his life.
Absolutely.
My son used to always want to be a police officer. When I asked him tonight, well, last night, son, what do you want to be? His response was a doctor.
Amen.
He said, Mom, I want to be able to heal the people the police shoot.
Come on.
And that was just, I don't know how to feel. I'm young, I'm 27 with 3 children. And not only am I having this conversation with my son, but I'm having this conversation with my daughters.
Absolutely.
Because we can't forget about Rakia boys. So we have to teach our young sisters that you cannot walk around with a hoodie either. Because they might mistake you for a man. You know, that's excuses. That's one of the underlying excuses, you know. You know, I sit back and I think about everything that's going down. A single mother like me who can't keep a job because of no daycare. You know, all of our services that are being taken away. And at the Worker Center for Racial Justice, what we do is we empower and we bring our people to consciousness and let them know what's going on.
Speak up, sweetheart. We can't hear you back here.
Here at the Worker Center for Racial Justice, what we do is we inspire people, we bring them to consciousness and let them know what is going on. Because even though we know what's going on in this room, it's a whole bunch of people who don't know what's going on in this room, outside of this room. We have, you know, with the media we call street kids and, you know, street youth and who's reaching out to them and who's talking to them. You know, it takes people like us to talk to them. Leaving here, I'm 26. I'll be 27 tomorrow. I've been organizing for 10 years. I'm sitting here with 2 of my fellow youth, Darius and Corey, who has been organizing on the side of me for over 10 years.
Say that again. How long you been organizing?
We've been organized for how many years?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Over 10 years. But I want to say it took people like JR. It took people like Mark. It took people like Claudia. Claudia in the back. You know, it took people like Lauda. You know, it took people like Jamont to speak to us and get us off these streets. So when you leave here today, I want to encourage for you not to be scared of our children. Because the reality is that our children are scared. They're scared to come to us. They're scared to talk to us. They're scared to talk to their teachers. They're scared to talk to their parents. They're scared. They don't know. They don't understand what's going on. They have no hope. I had a conversation with 2 twin boys that are the age of 7, and when I asked him, what do you want to become, he told me nothing. Because whatever I become is not going to be good enough for these people anyway. These are our children. They're not even teenagers yet, and they understand and they're taking this in.
So I want to say one more thing, and connecting what we do to movements. And this occurred before I was born, although I'm just 39 years of age. But each and every time blacks choose to organize, we always get declared war on. And there's some people in here that can speak to this more than me. But the LSD movement, Stones, Vice Lords, and Disciples, that worked in the 1960s, I believe, to bring blacks into the labor union. Just a couple of years after that, the first Mayor Daley declared war on leaders of those organizations, and then next thing you know, we got drugs full of communities full of drugs. And I came out of, as a youth myself, I was a kid coming up doing a nationwide peace treaty, the United Peace Movement, which those few years, we had some of the lowest murder rates in the city of Chicago. Right. You know, and
to add to that, I don't know if any of you guys remember Safety Networks a couple years ago. That was a program that was geared towards youth. I was a part of Safety Networks.
What happened to it?
Other youth. We went out in the communities.
No, what happened to the money? What happened to the program?
I don't know. What happened?
It went away, right?
It went away.
What happens to everything that we have? They get rid of it. But actually, it was powerful. It started off with a couple of youth. We went into this one space, and out of this space, we created Safety Networks. Safety Networks was an anti-violence program. But see, the difference between Safety Networks was that it wasn't so much just the adults that were part of it. See, Safety Networks gave opportunity for youth to have this job. Because one thing that you guys, you know, it may not be right, Lord, but our kids may not talk to you. Our kids may not talk to you. Our kids may not talk to our elders. See, they tend to talk to the youth. They tend to talk to each other. They tend to identify with each other because we know the struggles. Even though we know you guys know the struggle too, but we know the current struggles and the present struggles. So, you know, it gave us the opportunity to go back and talk to our peers and reach our peers and reach our youth. And back in 2007, 2008, 2009, I want to say that everything was a little bit more put together, and the murder rate back then was down too, but you took away this program. So you took away the opportunities for these children to not only be conscious, but bring their youth to consciousness.
And it also gave youth jobs in the community. And when we talk about the 94, what is the percent?
They say 94.6. It's over 90.
94.6 youth unemployment rate. That's staggering. That's more than staggering. That means that youth in our community, and I remember working, that's how I first met Alex. Youth in our community, it was said that between the hours that they get out of school, from 3 to 7 p.m. was the time that they most was likely to be victims of some type of crime. Safety Network put them and gave them an opportunity to be in a controlled environment amongst peers that they can strategize, that they can come up with tactics to fight their oppression. And I was happy to work that program. And that's how I came across youth like Lala at the time.
It also gave youth like me at the age of 17 having 2 children an opportunity to, you know, provide a roof over my children's head. So, you know, it did multiple things. I want to add to this one thing. You know, we're talking about youth employment, and the youth is so important because the youth are the ones that are having babies. Let's understand, we're not in a generation where babies are raising babies. We're in a generation where babies are raising grandbabies. We have 30-year-old grandmothers out here.
All right, so we want to go and thank y'all so much. We want to go into wrapping this up real quick. So we're going to have Raymond Richards from Brothers Standing Together to talk about some of the work he's doing in the community and how he connects with us on what we're trying to do by bringing organizations together. And then we're going to close it out with Darius Miles, Corey, Darius Lightfoot, and Corey Mason. I'm thinking about the basketball player. And then Mark Carter, who's going to talk about the Black Friday action and boycott. Go ahead, brother.
Good evening, family. My name is Raymond Richard. I'm Executive Director of Brothers Standing Together, so no one stands alone. I just want to say this. You know, we talked about so many issues tonight, but one of the issues I want to talk about is unification amongst us. As we say, we got to stop asking them for stuff, but the only way we can stop asking them for stuff is stop bullshitting. Stop playing games. We stand around here all day, marching in the streets, protesting, crying, shouting to the top of our lungs for something that we can do ourselves. We need to get out of that favoritism, hating each other, always low-key dissing each other, backbite, always talking about, let the white man give me 20,000, you get 20,000, and I turn my head this way, you turn your head that way, while our children die in the street. See, I do this shit. I don't do it for press. I don't do it for accolades. And I don't want to be on no CNN. I want to be out in the streets saving lives, changing lives. See, while we talk about what we gonna do, is already planned for us to do it. We have the power. They say the power's in the people. So while we sit around watching genocide repeat itself, as we go back to our ancestors like Nat Turner, and all them brothers who stood up, where they said we gotta die, we gonna die for something, rather than sit back and die for nothing. Our children are dying at an alarming rate. And they're not only dying at an alarming rate, there's now open season on the black man, open season on the black woman. Yes. So who is going to be the protector and the provider of that culture? It becomes the brothers that stand here now. We have so many organizers and veterans in this house right now that have yet to sit down collectively at the table and actually come together and make a solid plan so that we can move forward. We come with our individual spills about how we doing this, that, and the other, but we ain't doing nothing collectively, so it really don't mean shit.
We're about to close it out. Thank you for that, bro. I want to have Darius Lightfoot and Corey Mason come up from Fly Youth Group, who's going to close us out before Mark Carter talk about the Black Friday protest. And then we're going to march over to the 35th and Michigan to CPD headquarters. So right now, Darius Lightfoot, Corey Mason, who are youth with Fly Youth Group, who actually understood what collective power was, right? And when the mayor reached out to get them to calm black folks down,
not done yet, hold on.
when the mayor reached out to have these young activists come meet with him so he can calm them down, they refused. So Darius Lightfoot and Corey Mason.
Respect. Okay. How y'all doing? All right. Well, I'm the Corey Mason from that duo. We're the co-founders of Fearless, leading by the youth. I'm sure everybody in this room heard a little bit about us. We're the ones who had led the Trauma Center campaign and the Adi Home campaign. If anyone is not familiar with the Adi Home, I'll let y'all know that it's the Juvenile Temporary Detention Center, right? So I'd like to introduce y'all to our mission statement. Our mission statement is to engage the youth and the community in community organizing, training, theory, and in practice, historical, cultural orientation, and mentoring and leadership. Now, we're here today talking about the screening of the video. We're here today talking about the emotional impact, how it affects our community, the psychosocial impact of how it affects our community, the traumatic effect that it has on our community. I mean, we're just talking about how programs and nonprofits are being underfunded due to budget cuts. Right. We're also knowing that it's a fact that mental health clinics are closing here in Chicago. Yeah. Yet we are still going through traumatic incidents such as black violence, and police violence, and police brutality, and police fatalities, you know? So, I would just like to speak on solutions mainly. And I'm about to make this quick because I'm solution oriented. We're the youth. Right now, you all are speaking to the voice of the youth. We've been doing this for over 9 years plus, right? And we've been screaming out Black Lives Matter before it was a big tagline. We were saying our youth is being incarcerated at alarming rates. We have 60% of Illinois prisons filled with black men. You know, we have less than 2% of Illinois colleges, 21 colleges and universities, and the 2014 statistics on both. Less than 1% of black males are in the Illinois colleges. I mean, they're building these prisons based off our 4th grade reading levels. We're right here talking about interconnectivity of struggles, and we're sitting right here in the House of Black Star Project that is increasing the reading levels of the youth that can help to stop these horrible infringements on our human rights, our sovereign rights. That's why I love the brother who came up here talking about the plebiscite, taking it to the UN, because these are infringements on our human rights. These are communities and organizations and programs that is fighting on behalf of our communities when the government would not allow others to do so, would not allow them to do so due to the budgets that they would fund, the crumbs of budgets that they would fund to these organizations. So today I would like to second all the call to actions of interconnectivity, intergenerational movement and struggle, and movement building. And I'm right here for it. So,
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Darius Lightfoot, also a co-founder of Fly, spearhead of the Audi Home campaign. Fly was founded off advocating and fighting for juvenile justice. Fighting for juvenile justice. Yeah. Fighting for fucking juvenile justice because this system don't give a fuck about us. And I'm glad these mics gone. I'm glad these mics gone because I want to talk to y'all. I don't want to talk to no cameras, I want to talk to y'all. You feel me? Y'all my brothers, y'all my sisters, I want to talk to y'all because, like they said, we've been doing this for a long time. I done damn near seen it all. But I'm going to tell you that I ain't see the lake until I was 14. I'm a Chicago native. I lived here my whole life. I ain't see the lake until I was 14. That shows you how messed up our environment is. I didn't even go outside my neighborhood. I was stuck inside my neighborhood. I had my school there. I had my friends there. I lived there. I ain't go outside my community for anything. But the police come in there to do everything. They come in there to beat me up, slap me, throw me down, kill me. This is what they here for. I'm here to protect my people.
That's right.
I'm here to protect my Laquans. I'm out here to protect my Rakias. I do this for real. You feel me? I do this for real. This is my life. I've been shot, you feel me? I've been locked up. I've been through the system. I've been a part of the system. And I'm not trying to let the system kill any more of my people in any type of way. They say LaShawn had some PCP in his body when they had did the autopsy. You feel me? We got In the last 3 years, we got 6 of our remaining 12 public mental health clinics closed by the mayor. In the last 3 years, we got 50 public schools closed and counting by the mayor. And you expect us, and we see our friends dead. We see our friends dead on the ground. I gotta look at this. I seen my friend shot dead on the ground. What traumatic wounds do you think I got in my mentality from seeing that? And you close my mental health clinics on my side of town, on the south side, on the west side, and I see the most traumatic things every single day. You come and harass me, the same police, you frisk me 10 times in one day. You know me by my first name. You ain't gotta search me up. You know me. And you still choose to put your gun in my face and tell me don't move. And you still choose to close my public facilities and privatize. You think I'm not gonna self-medicate myself?
That's right. That's right.
You think I'm not?
Say it.
I gotta deal with it somehow. And instead of overly self-medicating myself, I educate myself and I educate my people. Because that's the only way to do it.
For those who stuck around, we're about to get ready to march over to 35th and King Drive. We're going to make some announcements and some demands. 35th in Michigan. Mark Carter is going to tell us about the action Friday now. And we're going to announce that action in front of the police station because we want this understood. Black folks are coming to the Magnificent Mile in a peaceful manner. That's right. We want to make that clear to the police. We will protest and we will disrupt people's lives this Friday for Black Friday at the heart of Chicago. Mark Carter, come and tell me what's going on.
Y'all see these pictures? Can't see. This is Laquan after they murdered him. Can't see. Who we looking at? Laquan. Shot him in his head. Shot him in his groin, but I don't want to, display his pictures. But more, these are the shots when he's on the ground, mainly. He didn't hit him on his shoulder area. Right? Now, let's understand something. That in this city for the last almost 20 years that I've been out here pounding the pavement, along with the rest of the guys and team on the movement, for the most part, we have stood down and allowed this to happen.
That's right.
Yeah. We get ready to release a video of maybe 100 police shootings, marches that we went on over the years, that we've gone on over the years. I remember White Mike. Anybody, who was with us when we marched with White Mike? Y'all remember? On 63rd. 63rd, right? White Mike walked out of the store. When he stepped outside the store, the police grabbed him by the back of his neck and blew his stomach out of his back. Now, I can go down the list of people who were executed by the Chicago police. And I can count the times that the community would actually come out. And I can count even more times where most of the adults in the community had something to say against the children who were killed by the police, more so than they came out and fought for the children. Let's be clear on what we're dealing with. Just because this one is highly publicized, everybody's getting involved. Everybody should have been involved. Right. But we're going to trust that everybody's going to be involved moving forward. So we want to beat up on no one. And so as a response, since we live in the public, Brother Bay, people living in the public instead of the private, since you living in the public, then everything that belongs to white folks belong to you. All you got to do is take over it. Stop begging for it. That's right. And stop letting your damn preachers and those you call leaders go and speak for you.
Right. That's right, brother.
Let me say that one more time. Stop letting those that call themselves your pastors and your leaders go speak for you, because the minute you allow them to go speak for you, they're going to pimp you. They're not your friend. Look. People pray for a prophet, right? UPRAY. For PROPHET. Preachers pray for a prophet too. FPREY for PROFIT. But I'm going to go into how we can move on this, since we choose to live in the public. And those of y'all that understand what I'm saying, you get it. There's two things that's understood that will bring them to their knees and make them listen to you. That's you messing with their money and messing with their politics. You don't have to go downtown and burn nothing down. You ain't got to do that. Fuck with their money and politics. Take over the businesses and institutions in your community. No compromising. To hell with doing a march.
That's right.
Shut their money down. Come on, Magnificent Mile. World Business Chicago. The Board of Trade. These are the 30 days of actions that we're going to take. We're going to move on their money.
Say the institutions again.
We don't give a damn what the leadership in this city tell us don't do. To hell with them. And if they get in the way, we're going to kick their ass.
That's right.
Physically. See all that bluffing and playing with them? They don't understand that. Why the hell we keep on acting like the police can stop us? It's 13,500 police. It's 1 million of us.
Right.
Stand on it. Stand on it. Now, we're going to the Magnificent Mile Friday at about 11 o'clock. We're going to go down there at about 11 and stay till probably about 7. And we want to take up everything from Wacker Drive to Chicago Avenue. We're saying to the shoppers in solidarity for Laquan's life, don't shop.
That's right.
That's right.
So through social media, you send it out to people all across the city of Chicago. Tell them don't shop. Keep your money. Stay. For the most part, all these black faces down there, most of them going to stay at home anyway.
Right.
Mess with their money.
That's right.
Impact them in the pocket, and they will listen.
Yeah.
Who do you think? If one of the countries overseas wasn't cooperating, who do you think they would respond to first? The president or the company that's hiring most of the people in the country? The company, right?
That's right. Money.
Now, we're going to take the pictures and do a limited edition. We want you to pick up the Defender newspaper. I know it's probably been a long time since we picked up the Defender newspaper. So we're going to do a limited edition with all of the pictures of the child being killed, because we want to compare this to what happened with Emmett Till. This is our Emmett Till 2015. Now, we're not going to just march around and talk about it. No. Like I said, we're going to go after their money. And then we're going to deal with impacting their politics. Do y'all understand that your alderman is also your committeeman?
Yeah.
Well, if the alderman doesn't do his job or her job, then who's going to hold him accountable if they are the committeeman also? Take the committeeman seat, March 15th.
Absolutely.
Take the power away from them. That's the reason why you see the Black Caucus coming out here talking, because they get ready to run for office March 15th. You think they didn't know? You think they didn't see the video of the child being killed? It's election time now, so they all want to come out. We talking about this Black Caucus.
Absolutely.
Carcass, because they're dead. They're not doing, they haven't done anything.
That's right.
Hold them accountable, mess with their money and their politics. The state's attorney, unseat her.
That's right.
Yeah. Your state elected officials, if you mess with their money and their politics, stop talking about you a Democrat or Republican. You don't have the luxury to be a Democrat or Republican. Both sides of each, what about you? Come on. So to the little brothers, Malcolm, London, and all those young brothers and sisters who they marching around, no, we have to grab them and show them how to impact the political structure. If you're going to live in the public, if you're going to live in the public, mess with their money and their politics. Don't say you know, all these things and you got green money in your pocket. You know, you talk about the Black Power movement and revolutionary, you revolutionary, and you got green money in your pocket. So if you're gonna live in the public, control the public, control the resources. Now, I want to go into, as a result of, you know, or the solutions, because we don't just want to raise up and just mess with the money, but also we want to force the mayor's hand. All the resources. We taxpayers, we hire firemen, hire police, and then they have a pension. Well, they invest in the pension money all overseas. There's no investment plan for the South and the West Side of the city of Chicago. We demand that the treasurer invest in the South and West Side so we can create our own jobs and contracts. We want the pension fund right now is up to about $60 billion. So we can take the $60 billion and invest it in redeveloping and creating our own jobs and opportunities. We can leverage the numbers in this movement right now from Laquan's death and the uprising to break this mayor's back. The mayor's like the Wizard of Oz. He's just a big fiery face, little man behind the curtain. Little man behind the curtain that we can deal with him. Also, we must force the indictment of all those that helped cover it up. Pat Hill talked about all those that played a role in this. We must go after them. Your aldermen helped cover this up. And then come back and tell you that they're the black aldermen. They helped cover this up. The state's attorney. Who else, Pat? All these different people help cover this up. Police board, she's eating right now. Now, two last things, and then we're gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready to get out of here. We want to open up all these police shooting cases, where, especially those that had tapes attached to them. We want to bring them back to the table. There's about 3 or 4 tapes where the same thing happened with Laquan happened with other people. So we want to bring those cases and open them back up. We want to replace incompetent leadership, and not just politically. Right. We have a lot of national incompetent leaders. Right. We have a lot of incompetent pastors. Yes. We have a lot of incompetent leadership on the streets. That help keep us in bondage too. Yeah. Because ultimately, you know what this is about? Land grab. Absolutely. This is about the land grab. And let's stop running around talking about you middle class. There's no such thing as no middle class. Well, grandmama say you either got it or you don't got it. That's right. No in between. And so we must organize and make sure that we stay on the land, because they have a plan to take us off the land. And if they're going to take us off the land, they're going to buy the land from us, not use the building inspectors to take it from us. And one last thing I must say to all the men in the room, because the men, you are responsible for taking care of the women and children. Don't tell these boys to pull their pants up and your punk ass scared to put your pants on. Don't try to check these shorties, and don't y'all let them check y'all. They come on the block trying to whoop y'all, get together and fuck them up. Run it last over.
I told y'all it was going to be a different type of meeting, right? I give you this disclaimer at the beginning. So we about to close up. I want to let folks know this ain't the end all be all. The press was invited to the first one. Sorry you won't be at the next one. That's strategic while we're doing that. Brother Nube wanted to say something, an acknowledgement of some things that I might have missed. So get it forward to Brother Nube.
Peace, brother. I just want to give a personal honor to the young son right there, young brother, because he definitely in detail expressed it, what we need to do. One of our problems is that we socialize with ineffective members. Your leaders are being paid by the same people killing you.
That's right.
I don't know what kind of meeting this is. I don't know who most of these people is, but we ain't playing.
That's right.
What our likeness to others is our duty to preserve it. You can't kill our people. Now y'all sitting up and nodding your heads. I'm telling you, you gotta be a nation. Stop begging and scratching where it don't itch. But to that little brother, you said it. You can't go to the same system looking for justice for people that have no mercy in them. Now, I'm not here to antagonize anybody to tell you to go out and do. I'm not a marcher. I saved my shoes. That's why I got steel heels on. I'm not going to do anything that brings about disharmony. But we're going to let everybody in this room know there's a group of your people that look just like you that we in council right now with this government. You're talking about the mayor. He has no power over you. You have your own power. Stop procrastinating.
Come on now.
Stop pretending to be the wise. And you rebels, if you in here, stop playing the fool by half. You're a storyteller, and our people dying. You the one riding off with the Hummer and living out there in Orland Park somewhere.
Come on now.
That brother that we just seen, I'm 60 years old. I did 20 years in the penitentiary for a murder without a pistol, without a witness. The brother that got killed, I never disrespect him. ETC, which means etc. This is a very unjust system, and you got to get out of it. I'm not a Democrat, because that's Dixiecrats. Them the ones held you in slavery. Them the ones got you in slavery right now. I'm not saying this just to disregard the Democratic Party. I'm saying that party keeps you on strings. Come on. You got to do what that brother said. Brother, I don't know who you are, but even out of the mouth of a baby come buffing wisdom. That's right. You don't own nothing, you don't feed yourself, you don't run nothing. The Arabs got your neighborhood, the Koreans got your neighborhood, and you in here talking about complaining. When are we going to do something for ourselves? When are we going to organize as a people? Ain't no slavery. And to my brother talking about Africa, we was here already. Tell us, bro. Ain't no Indians here. Ain't no such thing as no two Indian countries. We the aboriginal people of this land. We Ham and Kush. We was on both sides. See, pardon me for my zeal, but I'm going to say this. There are some of us getting tired. You talk about violence, we talking about bringing down the ether planes. There's some things that we know that you don't know about the signs of our fathers and mothers. You don't honor your forefathers, that's why your children don't respect you. Peace.